All right. I have one more guest that's going to be joining us here in a second, because another topic that we've started to touch on that is becoming more and more important is this topic of modernization. And when we think about modernization, it's twofold, right? There's several different things that we need to be aware of and that is becoming more and more important for us. We think about folks that are on older versions of .NET Framework, web forms. They're involved in things on older versions of .NET Core, right? Maybe you're on .NET 6. Maybe you're on .NET Core 3.1. You're on these older versions, and you want to take advantage of and get of the new features, the new capabilities. You want to get support. You want to be able to deploy to the cloud. You want to take advantage of AI features. You want to start using Aspire. You want to get into all these new things that are available. Yes. If you are on ancient tech, like our friend Thindall right there, we want to get modernized. There's a couple of sessions here that talk about some of the different techniques that you can use to modernize. Where was it? I saw the session from Matt down here. There we go. Modernizing .NET applications. I want you to make sure that you check these out over here. But we are also going to bring on, I've got Santiago just about ready to join us there. There he is. He's got some stuff that he's been building. Let me bring in Santiago here, and we're going to talk about some additional ways that we can modernize our applications and not just get our technology updated to the latest version, but get ready to start using other technologies in the cloud, AI, and so forth. Hey, Santiago, how you doing there?
Hi, Jeff. I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. We've been talking a lot about all these things that happened in .NET Conf, and I understand you've got some cool insight and a cool demo to show us about modernizing .NET applications.
I do. I do. So yeah, thank you, Jeff, again to have me here. It's always a pleasure to be part of these events too. So for those that doesn't know me, my name is Santiago. I work at Growth Acceleration Partners, and I am a cloud solution architect with AI. And like Jeff said, I am one of the engines powering all the solution in Gap that we are building with AI and taking your application to the newer world. So let me share my screen, Jeff. It's actually easier to see it.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, let me change my desktop. Do you see it now?
Yep, there we go. All
Okay.
right, I'll hand over
So
the stage to you.
yeah. So I bet a lot of people in the industry right now is suffering from these kind of problems. As you are seeing on the screen right now, this is a very simple application that has been created on Access. So you will be surprised, Jeff, how many clients or companies these days still have applications on Microsoft Access. And of course, since this, let's call it a legacy technology, have been written in VBA, it uses very static forms. It is actually almost impossible to take it into the cloud or make it a web application. So you get stuck with an application that only work on Windows, that you are tied to some particular infrastructure, and also it doesn't have any shared data throughout your clients. It becomes very difficult to have it. At the most, there are clients that take the risk to maybe rewrite a little bit the the access code and maybe try to merge it with a SQL database or something similar. But at the end, they end up with the same thing, a legacy application. So here at Gap, what I'm going to show you is something that we have been working on. We have been working on solutions that are fully powered by AI. To be more exactly, to be powered by agents. So what we have been doing is we have been working on solutions that mimics the development of any application. So when our clients want to modernize their application, what usually happens? There is some analysis on the application. Experts come in, they understand the code, they see what is happening, what is actually needed in order to be moved into the cloud, or at least making the cloud enabled. So after that, we have the usual development lifecycle. We have developers, we have QAs, we have people that test the application, rewrite the code, make adaptations, and everything. So Jeff, what do you think it will be? How cool it could be if a set of agents could do a big part of that, analyze the code, everything.
So that's massive for me. That is just like when we think about larger applications, especially old applications, like if an agent is able to do the analysis and give me that assistance when the folks that built it probably aren't with my organization anymore. They
Right.
left, they retired. That goes a long way to helping me get the insight to migrate forward.
Exactly. So with all of those things fully automated, we can take these kind of applications and understand everything. The agents are going to know what is happening on the application. They are going to have a whole context of as it is, which form does it have, how is actually they connect together, which data is depending to, which table is using, what is the different builds and everything. So you try to make a standard migration in things like that. At the end, what you end up is like a, let's say, a cheap copy of this application into a web application. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel modern. And sometimes it doesn't even behave properly into the cloud because you try to mimic the state of these applications into the cloud. So at Gap, we have everything, all the life cycle. We have the understanding, we have the test cases producing, we have the code generation and conversion as well. Until out the output, we have a proper web application that is modern. So the example that you are seeing here in Jeff is just like a very standard access form. So you can
Mm.
edit information in here. Just nothing too fancy, I will say. Jeff, do you would like to see this application into the cloud?
I would. Access means I need to have that installed on everybody's desktop, and I've got to have that database local, accessible to them. Getting it into the cloud is going to give me that freedom that okay, it's running in a browser, and I can use my tablet with it. I can use my phone wherever I might be, and I'm authenticated. I would love the accessibility that that's going to give me, and by accessibility, I mean the ability for me to access it using more mediums. So yes, please, can we get to the cloud?
Yeah, of course. So that will be the first part. You can forget about anything related to the access part. So you don't have any VBA code on any ugly forms after that. After we provide our services at Gap, this is what you are going to have: Blazor code written in .NET 10. You are not going to have any overcomplicated or hard to maintain code. If you have developers that know HTML and the concept of C Sharp, you can take this migrated application into whatever you would like to have.
Yeah.
Another big advantage, Jeff, you just mentioned. You can see this application in a mobile, and you can also see it in a tablet, and it's fully usable too. You are not constrained to ugly designs or any things like that. So, Jeff, this output is part of the tools that we have. So we took this access project that I showed before, and we moved it into the web using our AI agent powered system. So take a comparison of the different grids. Great. So you keep the functionality from the Access application. We don't break up anything like that. So if you know your application in Access, you are going to see exactly the same thing into the web application, the same fields, the same data. And you know what happens just with the data and also with the schema? If you are tied to the Access data, all of your data and the schema is moving to the Azure cloud into Azure SQL Server too. So you can forget 100% of anything related to Access. No more
Nice.
files, no more manual maintenance, and everything is pure cloud native context. So the web application, it behaves exactly in terms of usability as the desktop application. As you can see, you can manage the different grids. You can look up into the food as you do on the original application as well. You can take a look into the details too. You can check your food logs in case you want to take a look into that one too. You can see the food totals you have been eating throughout the day too. Everything has been fully adapted. You can follow your just a set of example of things that you can do after the migration. The good thing, Jeff, is we managed to hide automation into this. We achieved 90%, between 80 to 90% of the automation of the code. The other 10% is only required the developer to make a small adjustments into the code,
Sure.
into the presentation of the application as it is, and make custom authentication. That is up to the client. The rest of the code, the more overcomplicated part, is fully automated.
Yeah, adding in authentication after this, sure. That's something that I need to bring at that point. And when we look at this and we've got just a standard plain user interface here, now I can customize. Now I can go bring in my favorite CSS framework. I can bring in my design, and I'm not coupled to this simple, lame, just access design. I like it.
Yeah, and it is pretty good that actually that you mentioned, Jeff. The output of the code that we provide is actually 100% enabled to use Bootstrap. So
Okay.
you don't have, so you are, so the application is going to be ready to make any fancy modifications to make it look better, maybe making any special adaptations. But if you manage to so, the application is fully responsive already. You will be able to use it in the browser, in the tablet, any place that you would like to use in your mobile phone. So after you have the new code, it is going to be up to your imagination how much of the application you would like to improve outside of the standard behavior.
And since it's customizable with Bootstrap, I can go out to various websites where folks are selling little Bootstrap themes and say, "Hey, you know what? Can I have $20 so we can apply a theme here that's going to make this look better and you don't have to think about." Yeah, right? That's the kind of thing that makes our lives as developers easier. Just pull down a pre-canned design that's going to work with my stuff.
Yep. So yeah, also something to mention is that sometimes when people get involved into these migrations, they usually get very afraid of the output code is going to be impossible to maintain or too overcomplicated.
Yeah.
So take a sneak peek into the screen. This is pure Blazor code. You don't have anything complicated in here. You have Bootstrap, like I mentioned, HTML standard, C# code, the usual stuff. Um, from the backend side, you have the usual thing. This is also pretty important to mention, Jeff. Everything that is related to the logic, of course, gets to be rewritten in C#. But also the important part is that anything related to the database access patterns gets fully replaced by entity framework. So you
Ah.
so you don't see any seek select from here or insert from here hard coding into the code. Everything is fully replaced by entity framework. Nice, well written entity framework, Jeff.
Now, okay, Santi, that is a massive lift so that I don't have to have all the access statements, select star from, select first name, last name from customers, all of that. You're converting those select statements to entity framework. That is a massive lift that doesn't just get me into a modern data access technology that I know is going to be faster, but it also starts to hide SQL injection possibilities there. So you're even bringing a little bit of a security improvement. I like that.
Yeah. So, and one of the also good to mention, Jeff, is that the agents that we have created and we fine tuned perfectly for this kind of task is going to provide entity framework of high quality, high performance, and with the most reduced and most simplified version that they can provide.
Mm.
Take a look into line 20 as no tracking. This is a perfect example of a well-written selected segment with entity framework. Sometimes even the developers we forget to include those kind of things.
I,
The
I forget
agent,
it all the time.
yeah. But as you can see, the agent doesn't forget it. He actually included in every select that we do and every safe statement. Everything is being handled properly. So yeah, on this migration exercise, Jeff, I will say you don't end up with a migrated code, but a rewritten, modernized code that you can move anywhere else.
Yeah. I want to go to this question from Chuck. It's a good follow up here. You mentioned the data got moved. Is the data being imported into the new database for us as part of the process?
Yeah, as part of the process, we create the data objects into the C# code. We use migrations to recreate the database as well. With the current design, we are doing the migration of the data manually, but there is an agent coming into that to do the full migration automated. So
Um, and I gotta make sure I ask what database systems do you support right now?
that's a pretty good question, Jeff. Since we are using entity framework to migrations to move the code, it means that you can choose whatever engine you would like to choose that is compatible with entity framework migrations. So you can move to Azure SQL, you can move to multiple variants. Anything that supports that migration is going to be compatible with it.
Fantastic. I like Postgres. I'm going to use Postgres.
Yeah. Also, Jeff, if maybe you don't want or you don't like or you cannot use any of the parts of entity framework migration, that's okay. We also provide a SQL output to whatever language is actually needed. So you like to go to Postgres, if you like to go with Oracle, MySQL, any flavor that you like, you can do it.
Terrific. Okay. So you've got everything migrated. It all looks great over there. We've got components. How I saw some of the variable names. They look like they're similar to the old access style variable names. Those are carried forward so that my business logic and things that I had defined in the previous application, that code is going to look familiar in a familiar place for me to discover and use.
Yeah, as part of the flow, we initially tried to, let's say, move the code or rewrite the code into .NET, keeping a parity with Access. And the main reason we do that is in order to have another set of agents that measure the quality, also the expected outcome as it is. So at the end, it could be an easy refactor of the variable. So yeah, that's what maybe you are going to see a couple of things that resemble between Access and the Blazor code. But it's actually to provide high quality output of what we do.
Awesome. All right. Anything else we need to see?
No, that's everything. I hope you like it, Jeff, and the
Yeah.
audience too.
Where can folks learn more and connect about learning more about how they migrate and modernize applications like this?
Yeah, you can always look out for us as Velocity AI, or we are gap.com, and you can always find all the services that we provide at Gap. You will be able to find all the migrations and modernization services that we offer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Santiago. Great talking to you again. Hope you have
Likewise.
a fantastic rest of your day and really
You too.
appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
All righty.